Good morning, everybody. Today's a bit different weather. It's a more traditional, sort of foggy and rainy and cool, but the last couple of days have been beautiful, bright sunshine here in Lunenburg, which has allowed us to knock off a great deal of projects. One of the big ones that we have to do every year is the anchor chain here. So the first two shots, so 180 or 200 feet, the crew have wire brushed and chipped to get all the rust and loose paint off. So the anchor chain is marked in paint, so we can tell how much chain we have out. So here you can see one red link, which denotes length measurement, and one white link, which denotes one shot of chain out, or 90 feet. Over here we have 3 white links, so that's 3 shots. And then another one that we have is a green link, which indicates that we're a shot and a half, and so that's a common length of chain for us to put out. Here we are with 3 of the smaller spars from the ship. They spend their winter inside in our rigging shed. So we have the 4-boom, the 4-gaff, and the jumbo boom. What you might find interesting is the checks, or the rents in the 4-gaff there. So that's a natural part of the drying process, and they don't particularly affect the structural integrity of the timber. The problem comes with those is that it allows fresh water inside the timber, and then it becomes a great place for the rot bugs to grow. So we take great care in treating the inside of those checks, often with boiled linseed oil or with tar, to cover the wood up so that there's no rot growth. But timbers like this are consumable. They have a fixed lifespan, and they will eventually be replaced. They're not there yet, but in the future we'll have new spars on the ship. Here we have a lovely example of the type of thing that the crew learn while they're here on the ship. This Hbit was starting to look a bit faded, and over the last couple of days we scraped it back to bare wood and brought the color back out in the mahogany. So then treated with 50-50 varnish, and 60-40, then 70-30, and slowly we're going to build up the coats till this absolutely gleams. You can see some purple sections in here, and this is a wood called Purple Heart. And that's there because it's harder than the mahogany that the bit is made of. So as the sheets are running around it, there'll be less chafe, and this groove will take a lot longer to develop. Here we are in the rigging shed. On cold, rainy days, we tend to come in here and do the work we can. And there's lots of little projects that have to be tiddlied up before they get put on the ship. Fire hose racks, deck boxes, wheel box cover. Just the list goes on and on and on. So here we have all the immersion suits for the crew. They've all been sent out to be inspected by a local company. And then on the walls behind me are all the halyards and sheets for the ship. Every fall they're hung up after they've been inspected. And then we're patiently waiting until we can work our way out of here and get some nice weather. And then we'll start hanging them up on the ship and get to rigging. These are the workhorses of a fishing schooner. These are our 2 Dorys that we carry. They're a foot shorter than a traditional Grand Bank Dory, and that's just to allow room on deck for the public to visit us. So these dories, beyond all expectations, are nearing 40 years old now. So we take great care of them. And we do use them. The crew sail them, the crew row them, and they're lifted and put over the side as often as possible. Every once in a while we get out to sea and we have a calm day, and we like to launch them at sea as well and give the crew sort of the feeling of rowing away from the schooner, and realizing all of a sudden how small a dory is, and then what a tough life it was to be fishing from a dory. Here's an interesting little project the crew have been doing. As a sign for the company store, and a lovely bit of Douglas fir for a mast. The deck outside the company store has been redone, and they're hoping to welcome people on May 1st. So you'll see the sign, there'll be an open flag up, and I hope you all will come and see what's going on at the store. And one of the things the crew have been doing is this white rail, this bulwarks, has all been sanded and primed in a first coat of paint. And then the side of the house here has all been given its first coat of white paint. So it's like painting a radiator sometimes, and it just never ends. There's all kinds of nooks and crannies, and the mates have to be very careful about making sure that all the bare wood has been primed. We put the wheel back on. We headed off to do some servicing to the steering gear and to the front of the wheel box here. That's all been painted. And one of the things that we saw in the rigging shed was the top of the wheel box. So that'll get coats and coats and coats of varnish. So it'll look nice and shiny when people come and have their pictures taken by the wheel. And the other big projects we've done this week is take the winter cover off. So it's really interesting for the crew. They've been living under this greenhouse. When they take the cover off, the ship all of a sudden grows. It's way longer because you can see over the bow and you can see over the stern and out into the bay. So it really changes their perspective on the ship. You can see the crew all coming aboard behind me. They're down here for the 10 o'clock coffee break. So ship runs. We have Bluenose coffee, which is available in the company store, and the ship runs on coffee and cookies. So Cook will put out snacks for the crew, and they'll all go down in the galley and sit around and drink coffee and tell stories like the ships of old. And I'm never one to miss a chance for a cup of coffee and a cookie either, so I'm off to get my coffee, and we'll see you next time.